what's going on, so that they know that they can get some information here on this broadcast. Let me see here. Oh, there we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Alicia Mayo here again from Clarity Media. Thank you so much. Clarity Media is about human stories and grassroots solutions. And tonight, I want to offer a solution to the questions that many people have asked me and asked the African American Reparations Advisory Committee members without knowing what's in the report. Now, you can read the report yourself by going online to www.sfreparations.org. There's the website address on the screen there. Again, you can go to that website and you can look through the menu and you'll find the report in the menu. Okay. Download it. Make sure you have lots of paper available and lots of ink in your ink jet or cartridges on your printer, because it is the first report. It's about 60 pages. Okay. It's a pretty extensive report, and I've downloaded it here, all the pages, and we're reading through it. If you can't download it or print it yourself, or if you don't want to do it, I understand it's a lot of reading and it's a lot to try and understand. And as I read through it, I will invite the African American Reparations Advisory Committee members, including the chair, Eric McDonald, and the vice chair, Ms. Tanish Hollins, and other committee members to join me uh, after the reading is all done, so that we can sift through this report and get a better understanding about some of the contents. I would like to also invite those of you who are watching and tuned in to join us on the steps of San Francisco City Hall on March 14th for a rally before we present, or before the African American Reparations Advisory Committee presents the reparations report number 1 to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and to the Honorable Mayor London Breed of San Francisco. They will present the first report, this report that we're reading. They will present that to the Board of Supervisors to be reviewed by the board and to be considered to send to Sacramento to the governor for further consideration and policy. And hopefully it will become legislation and policy this year. That is my hope. That is my hope. It should definitely be a part of the California push for reparations, and that is taken up by Dr. Shirley Weber. Look her up, as well as other really important policy and legislative members and people who are interested in making reparations for San Francisco and for Californians who are Black, who have African American roots, and a long history of contributing to or contributions to California and San Francisco. Okay, so now let's get into the report. Now, during the last reading, I left off on page 30. Okay, I lost my way through all of the pages, but nevertheless, I did find my way, and I left off on page 30. So that's where we're going to pick up tonight, from page 30 of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee report number 1. The second report is due to be released to the public in July. So I'm looking forward to that. And I hear that in the second report, that's where the formula for payment will be included to show how they came up with the dollar amount of $5 million per San Francisco resident who qualifies. And there are some qualifications that are in the report. And again, you can find the report on the website at sfreparations.org. The website address is there on the screen for you. Okay, but let me not delay anymore. Okay, so let's see here. I want to present the report as I read through it to you here. So there it is on screen, and I'm going to fast forward to page 30. Okay, so we're getting through the report. I took a few days off to prepare for a very important conversation that I'm having tomorrow afternoon. I will share the conversation with you all a little later, but it is an extremely important conversation that I am proud to be recording tomorrow afternoon. So I took a few days off to prepare for that. But now let's continue with the reading. We're on page 30 and we're on section 8, and it is titled Eligibility for Reparations. There is a checklist here, and let me go down the checklist of who qualifies or what the eligibility requirements are to receive reparations in San Francisco. First, an individual who has identified as Black African American on public documents for at least 10 years, and you must be 18 years or older. You must also have at least 2 criteria from the following list. You must be born in San Francisco between 1940 and 1996 and have proof of residency in San Francisco for at least 13 years. Also, you must have migration background to San Francisco between 1940 and 1996 and have proof of residency in San Francisco for at least 13 years. You must personally or directly be descended from someone who has been incarcerated by the failed war on drugs. Also, you qualify if you also have a record of attendance in San Francisco public schools during the time of the consent decree to complete desegregation within the school system. Also, be a descendant of someone enslaved through U.S. chattel slavery before 1865. Also displaced, or the direct descendant of someone displaced from San Francisco by urban renewal between 1954 and 1973. Listed or direct descendant of a certificate of preference holder, a member of an historically marginalized group that experienced lending discrimination in San Francisco between 1937 and 1968, or subsequently experienced lending discrimination in formerly redlined San Francisco communities between 1968 and 2008. Here are some recommendations. The recommendations are presented by the subcommittee issue areas that led the process of procurement, informed by feedback from public meetings, outreach, engagement, and surveys, in addition to ongoing research conducted by the subcommittees. Several recommendations emerge consistently across subcommittee areas. These are presented as overall recommendations, and those overall recommendations include: number one, the city and county of San Francisco and its agencies should issue a formal apology for past harms and commit to making substantial, ongoing, systemic, and programmatic investments in Black communities to address historical harms. Establish an independent office of reparations within the city to execute this plan. This agency must be charged with tracking and ensuring the continued success of programs that come out of these recommendations. Create and fund a committee of community stakeholders, such as Reparations Stakeholder Authority or similar, to ensure equity and and to ensure equity and continuity in the implementation of relevant policy initiatives independent of the city and county of San Francisco. Okay, I'm just getting started. All right, bear with me here. Alicia Mayo of Clarity Media, continuing to read the African American Reparations Advisory Committee of San Francisco report number 1. What's in the report? Okay, we are on page 32 of the report. And We are starting with the economic empowerment, financial reparations. Objective one, create a comprehensive suite of financial reparations that is made immediately available to those who qualify under the eligibility parameters set forth by the committee. The actions include provide a one-time lump sum payment of $5 million to each eligible person. The rationale for this, a lump sum payment would compensate the affected population for the decades of harms that have experienced and will redress the economic and opportunity losses that Black San Franciscans have endured collectively and as a result of both intentional decisions and unintended harms perpetuated by city policy. Two, supplement African American income of lower income households to reflect the area median income, or AMI, annually for at least 250 years. And in parentheses, they have $97,000 in 2022. And the rationale for this is racial disparities across all metrics have led to a significant racial wealth gap in the city of San Francisco. By elevating income to match AMI, Black people can better afford housing and achieve a better quality of life. Three, provide access to a spectrum of financial education from beginning to advanced. The rationale, while traditional financial institutions or while traditional financial education emphasizes basic financial literacy, there is a need to provide a ladder of financial education that encompasses all levels of financial knowledge so that resources match the broad spectrum of financial levels that exist throughout the community. Four, create public bank framework to ensure that unbanked people have fair options and expanded access to credit, loans, financing, and other tools for leveraging financial power. And the rationale for this is the ongoing quest for a public bank provides an opportunity for the city to offer options for populations that have historically been denied access to traditional financial institutions. Similar credit unions, a public bank can be a safety net to ensure that those on the financial margins have access to competitive rates and can access traditional pathways to build financial resilience. Five, recruit a Black-owned community bank to San Francisco or expand an existing institution with a Black-owned partner, financial institution, or Freedmen's Bank. While the public bank framework is targeted toward marginalized communities broadly, a Black owned community bank or credit union must allocate Community Reinvestment Act funds from banks that are specifically earmarked to meet the credit needs of low and moderate income communities and invest them in the communities they are intended to benefit, and increase lending in Black business owners and homeowners in Black communities. And there's some more information there about the San Francisco Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development.org. Again, that's sfmohcd.org. And I'll include that on the screen in just a second here. Let me type that in. The San Francisco Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development.org. Okay. SFMOHCD. Okay, let me include that there. If you'd like more information about the Community Reinvestment Act and the lending and income requirements for housing and all of that related to public banks and the interests of Black San Franciscans in that regard. Okay. The address is there on the screen. That's sfmohcd.org. That's San Francisco Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development.org. Okay. It's Alicia Mayo here on Clarity Media, thanking all of you for joining me for this reading of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1. The report will be submitted to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors on March 14th, and there will be a rally held at 12 noon on the steps of San Francisco City Hall before the report is submitted to the mayor and the board of supervisors, to the honorable mayor of San Francisco, London Breed. All right. Thank you again for joining me here on Clarity Media, Black women owned media. Nobody else does it the way I'm doing it. I'm proud to be a part of the Dream Keeper Initiative, narrative storytelling and narrative shift cohort. And this is my contribution to educating us on what is in this report. It is a 60-page report. This is the first report that is being submitted by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee. They've done a lot of work to create this report, and we are on page 33. So let's continue now with the report. Okay, we are picking up on page 33. Let me move to the next page. We are at the section 1.6, just above 1.6. Okay, we're continuing. Offer additional grants to supporting Black people in historically redlined neighborhoods or who have been denied banking options from other financial institutions. Offer alternatives to traditional credit scores or other means of qualifications, including matching or augmenting community giving frameworks. And support fair and equitable appraisals for all types of transactions. Now we're at 1.6. Finance a comprehensive debt forgiveness program that clears all educational, personal, credit card, payday loans, etc. The rationale for this: Black households are more likely to hold costlier, riskier debt and are more likely to have outstanding student loan debt. When this is combined with lower household incomes, it can create an inescapable cycle of debt. Eliminating this debt gives Black households an opportunity to build wealth. 1.7. Offer retirement planning services and services available to augment current retirees' financial state, particularly for low-wage workers. The rationale for this: those who have already reached retirement age have undoubtedly endured racial discrimination. 1.8. Introduce tax credits for those who qualify for reparations: payroll tax, business tax, property tax, etc. 1.9. Create a Black reparations trust or other entity that can accept funds for the sole purpose of investing in Black communities. Such an entity should allow donations from individuals and corporations who want to give their land, real property, or financial assets to the reparations effort, and I hope they do. B, explore and create structures and pathways to mitigate tax consequences for recipients of reparations funds. Yes, no tax on reparations. Create mechanisms for enforcement and accountability for all activities related to reparations. We're at 1.10. Create legal structures to protect those who receive reparations from financial speculators or predators, including court, block accounts, and trust accounts. And there's the rationale, given the history of financial institutions preying on underbanked communities, and especially given the vulnerability of subsets of this population, such as seniors and youth, this body recommends putting legal parameters and structures in place to ensure access to funds and to mitigate speculative harm done by others. Now we're moving on to page 33 and 34 and the subject of rental housing and home ownership. Objective 2, ensure that all members of the affected community have access to affordable, quality housing options at all income levels. And the actions include rental housing. 2.1. The Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development should remove barriers to qualification for subsidized and below market rate or BMR rental units. And the MOCD should, or that's the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development. We call it MOCD. Okay, MOCD should offer first choice for rental units to those who qualify for reparations, and the city should cover any cost differentials that may serve as a barrier to qualifications. And the rationale for this: housing is a human right, and increasingly, even BMR units are unattainable for renters because affordability thresholds are too high to be affordable to those with moderate or low incomes. By removing these barriers and or subsidizing rents for those who qualify, the city creates expanded opportunities for people to access rental housing. Home ownership 2.2. Guarantee continued funding for the Dreamkeeper Down Payment Assistance Loan, or DK-DALP, and convert the program from a loan to a forgivable grant over the course of 10 years, which shall be offered to eligible reparations recipients regardless of income. And the rationale for this: using the standards of a special purpose credit program, which allows you to use race as a factor in affirmatively furthering fair housing. We can improve the DK-DALP program. DK-DALP is an innovative program that builds on the city's standard DALP program and expands market rate home ownership opportunities for Black San Franciscans. By eliminating the repayment requirements for this program and converting it from a 30-year no interest, no payment loan into a fully forgivable grant, the city can make a meaningful investment in retaining and growing its African American population to what it once was or greater. I've added that. It also represents a commitment to addressing the loss in home ownership and household wealth that occurred as a result of displacement caused by urban renewal in the 1960s and 1970s. 2.3. The city and county of San Francisco should cover additional monthly costs, including homeowner association fees, parking fees, etc., related to housing stabilization in new constructions. And the rationale for this: many available home ownership opportunities are in condominiums or tenancy in common, or TIC, buildings that incur additional monthly costs in addition to the standard principal, interest, taxes, and insurance costs. Home ownership associations, or HOA fees, can add hundreds of dollars to monthly costs and act as an affordability barrier for property ownership. This recommendation would allow more people to access these housing opportunities by minimizing financial barriers. The city and county of we're on 2.4, excuse me. The city and county of San Francisco should underwrite costs associated with refinancing existing mortgage loans. And the rationale for this: mortgage refinancing allows homeowners to lower their monthly mortgage costs. Assuming the costs associated with this expands this opportunity to a larger pool. 2.5. The city and county of San Francisco and MOCD should offer grants for home maintenance and repair costs. Good evening, everyone. Alicia Mayo here of Clarity Media. Thanking all of you who are tuned in for the reading of the Reparations report. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I am trying to unlock the myths, or the mystery surrounding this first report submitted and created by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee of San Francisco. They've been working hard to produce this report, and it is about 60 pages long. It will be submitted to the Mayor of San Francisco, Honorable London Breed, and to the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco on March 14th. And just before that presentation, Black San Francisco will gather on the steps of San Francisco City Hall to rally for reparations for Black San Francisco. So please join Black San Francisco, that is including myself. Please join us on the steps of San Francisco City Hall on March 14th at 12 noon to rally. If you love Black people and you love me and you love reparations and the idea of repaying people or repairing the harms for all of the injustices to Black and Indigenous people of color, come out and support us. Come and join us in solidarity. I will be there on that day, March 14th at 12 noon, on the steps of San Francisco City Hall to rally for reparations for San Francisco and for California, for that matter, for Black California. This is a grassroots movement and effort being done by average citizens and politicians and really key important people who have voices. But all of our voices matter. It's not just about the policies and or the policymakers and the legislators. It's about us, average citizens who have been a part of San Francisco history, California history, and legacy, our ancestors, all of the hard work, all of the blood, sweat, and tears um, shed to make our city and our state what it is today. We cannot go without acknowledging them, our ancestors, and the people who worked so hard to make it possible for us to have the lives that we have today. So please join us on the 14th to honor our ancestors, all of the work, and to honor our future, our children and our grandchildren, great grandchildren, and all that has happened between then and now. We don't know where we're going unless we acknowledge the past. We don't know where we're going unless we face the future and do the work that is necessary to provide a greater future for our children and grandchildren. All right, Alicia Mayo here of Clarity Media. I'm going to get off my soapbox and get right back to the reading of the first report of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, and they have worked hard to submit this report. We are on page 35. I'm reading pretty quickly through it right now. Thank you so much for joining me. So let's start at the top of the page of 35. The rationale for providing, for asking the city of San Francisco and MOCD to provide grants for home maintenance and repair costs. The rationale for that is existing senior home repair programs offer a model for maintenance and repair grants, but this program needs to be expanded for all homeowners who qualify for reparations. Okay, I guess it's pretty limited at this point. Now let's move on to 2.6. MOCD should address and remove barriers built into the BMR program that limits wealth building potential. And the rationale for this is currently MOCD's guidelines prevent BMR inhabitants from building wealth through home ownership. BMR owners do not realize the full appreciation of their home's value if and when they choose to sell, and they are barred from renting their property to both short-term and long-term tenants. And should a leaseholder pass away, the property cannot be inherited by their descendants, and that doesn't sound right. While the African American Reparations Advisory Committee acknowledges that these stipulations were presumably put in place to mitigate the potential for using subsidized housing for profit and to maintain a pool of affordable properties, the impact of this is that this effectively creates a tiered system that further perpetuates the racial wealth gap. Therefore, MOCD should amend these practices to offer BMR owners opportunities to realize capital benefits from their properties. On to 2.7. Convert public housing units into condominiums with a $1 buy-in for qualifying residents, so the residents can own not only their unit, but all of the common areas as well. 2.8. Create a market of culturally relevant affordable housing development professionals. Establish programs that give preference to developments that build units for 50 to 80% AMI, including fast track for approvals, bonding, and other builder support. And that's happening across the country right now. 2.9, offer special consideration to certificate of preference holders, including offer COP holders automatic qualifications and first right of refusal to any rental or home. Okay, we're on page 36 now. Um, and we're continuing with the existing Black-led housing cooperatives that currently exist right now in San Francisco are Midtown Park Apartments, Home Ownership on Scott Street, Martin Luther King and Marcus Garvey Cooperative Apartments on Eddy Street, Lauren Gardens on Turk Street, Fillmore Marketplace on Webster, St. Francis Square Cooperative on Bertie Minor Lane, Plaza East on Eddy, Buchanan Park, Thomas Paine Square, Frederick Douglass Haynes Apartments, Freedom West Homes, Lauren Miller Homes, a cooperative housing community, Friendship Village Apartments, Banneker Homes, Amel Park Cooperative Homes, Banneker Homes, Prince Hall Apartments, Westside Courts, Hayes Valley North, and Hayes Valley South. And all of, well, the majority of these homes, a couple of them I'm not familiar with, but the majority of these homes are currently in the Fillmore, where the redevelopment plan really affect a lot of folks there. But it doesn't include any other Black residents in San Francisco, because they had to, rent or buy properties outside of these areas because there was limited availability in the housing that was made available, that I just read on that list. Okay, limited availability, and so they had to go wherever they could go. But then they struggled. They struggled to make ends meet and lost those homes that they purchased just to have a place to live. Imagine that. Not having any place to go. Your family's here in San Francisco. There's limited housing. You do the best you can. You take a chance. You buy a home, maybe through non-traditional lending practices. I know my grandparents talked about, and let me get on camera for this. I know my grandparents talked about some of their Jewish community friends that they worked with who helped them buy the home that they were able to purchase. They could not have done that without the help of their community. Okay. And thank goodness they did have the community that they had, and they were able to buy the home that is still owned by our family today. Okay. In San Francisco, they had to have help. But uh, how much, how much did they have to do? What did they have to do in exchange for the help? I have to ask my try and get that information out of my aunts or maybe my grandmother. My grandmother is probably too old to answer that question right now. She's suffering from dementia. God bless her beautiful spirit and soul. But I mean, there were some costs. There were some hidden fees, so to speak. Our people paid the price to live and survive in San Francisco. And these recommendations that are being presented by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee are just a few of the recommendations that need to be considered. And it does not even cover all that our people have sacrificed and had to do in order to maintain basic living standards in San Francisco. So let me just go on to the report. We're continuing here on page 37. At the top of the page, ownership opportunities with all financial eligibility needs met by the city. With the existing Black-led housing cooperatives. And B, offer a moving stipend for certificate of preference holders for all housing in the city so that they can finally move into some housing that they have long deserved. Okay, let's see. We're on to C at the top of the page of 37. And welcome to everyone who's tuned in. And if you are just tuning in, thank you for joining me. I'm Alicia Mayo of Clarity Media. I am reading the African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report, number 1, that they are submitting to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and the Mayor of San Francisco, Mayor London Breed, on March 14th for further consideration. Hopefully, this report will move on to Governor Gavin Newsom at the state capitol in Sacramento, along with Dr. Shirley Weber, the Secretary of State, and get approval. And the governor, hopefully he'll sign this legislation, move it on to the federal level so that we can get California reparations. That is the hope, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, and I hope you are too. Join us on the steps of San Francisco City Hall on March 14th to rally for reparations for Black San Francisco. Let's start there, and let's continue this movement for reparations for Black people of California. Support us on March 14th, 12 noon. See you then. Okay. All right. Let me go on. We're at the top of page 37. We are on B. We're on C, actually. Letter C, create transparent and user-friendly methods for people to check their certificate of preference status. D, eliminate the housing lottery process for COP holders. E, ensure that the descendants of COP holders are able to access the same benefits that were offered to their parents or grandparents that their ancestors would have received. F, fund awareness campaign and augment staff to locate COP holders and their descendants. E, ensure that the COP has a monetary value with a baseline of 2 times the average cost of a home in San Francisco. And we're at section 2.10. Section 8 voucher holders apply the entirety of actions 2.9 to section 8 voucher holders as well. 2.11, establish and provide at least 5 years of initial funding for a community land trust governed by Black residents to procure and develop properties in target neighborhoods. In addition to housing, this land trust would own commercial and retail properties, investing particularly in vacant storefronts along commercial corridors in Black cultural districts like the Southeast sector on 3rd Street, and would also offer flexible leases at discounted rates to African American tenants. 2.12, make all residential vacancies of 3 or more months immediately available to Black homeowners or renters as part of the COP, Section 8 voucher holders and or reparations recipients. The rationale for this, according to a 2022 report from the Office of the Budget and Legislative Analyst, there are 61,000 vacant housing units in San Francisco. This is the highest number of vacancies since 2010. These vacant units should be offered immediately to unhoused residents and then offered to COP recipients, Section 8 voucher holders, or reparations recipients. Now on to spatial justice, cooperatives, and community space owners in the middle of page 37. Sorry, I'm moving on now. Okay. Objective 3, support and promote collective home ownership models and non-traditional pathways to home ownership. The actions include 3.1, promote the development of new and continued growth of existing Black-led housing cooperatives by taking actions to expand available opportunities, including incentivize Black home ownership within Black-led housing cooperatives by subsidizing purchases in cooperative communities. B, make renovation grants available to existing Black-led housing cooperatives. Offer Black-led housing cooperatives tax credits and to offset property taxes. Seed Black-led housing cooperatives with an initial 5 years of operating expenses. We're on letter E. Create easier pathways to establish housing co-ops and provide public funding to do so. Waive fees associated with converting housing typologies. For example, converting a multifamily home to a tenancy in common or TIC or condo in eligible co-op communities. Okay, so let's move on to page 38. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about the reparations, the African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1 that I'm reading currently on page 38, please include your comments or questions in the comments stream or comments on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. I don't think I've missed anyone. Yeah, you can find this recording on Clarity Media's platforms or on my Facebook page, I'm Alicia Mayo, or on my LinkedIn page, I'm Alicia Mayo, or on my Twitter page, I'm Alicia Mayo under Radio TV Queen. Alicia. Okay, look for me there. Support, subscribe, like, and share this report reading with your friends and families or anyone who may be affected by San Francisco reparations. They are coming, in my opinion. Okay, we're on 3.2. Dedicate significant funding and resources to restore and preserve historic landmarks, cultural centers, murals, and other vital assets of importance to San Francisco's diverse Black communities across all neighborhoods in the city. Objective 4. Create and sustain thriving, complete neighborhoods that include commercial activity, open spaces, safe streets, and affordable housing for Black San Franciscans in order to address the impact and legacy of displacement in the redevelopment era. Objective 5. Create vibrant community hubs and support cultural institutions centered on the Black community, for example, 1550 Evans, Fillmore Heritage Center, African American Arts and Cultural Complex, San Francisco African American Arts and Cultural District, and others identified through community outreach. And the actions. 5.1, we're in the middle of page 38. Purchase and run Black historical focused community centers and cultural institutions, or expand city departments, such as the public library, to provide these services. And the rationale for this: civic investments in cultural institutions play an important role in formally solidifying a community's performance in the city. For example, the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture in Harlem is a world renowned research institution affiliated with the New York Public Library. In addition to maintaining archives and other traditional library services, the Schomburg Center acts as a cultural hub in the community and hosts public programs, events, and exhibitions. The Schomburg attracts scholars, researchers, and community members alike, thanks to its notable collection and storied history in the neighborhood. Currently, there is no similar public institution in San Francisco dedicated to the Black community. The African American Reparations Advisory Committee imagines a future where the city makes a transformational investment in a cultural institution that addresses the needs of its diverse Black communities, honors their legacies, and offers space for celebrating joy. And hopefully, you'll be able to see all of my content there as well. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so we are continuing on page 38 at 5.2. Fully fund African American cultural districts and see them with the first 5 to 10 years of operating expenses to set them up for success. Job creation and succession. Objective 6. Prioritize Black San Franciscans in local growth industries, align educational, professional, and economic development pathways to ensure successful outcomes across all employment levels in these industries. We're on action 6.1 at the bottom of page 38. Expand opportunities for all to include more positions in city government so that government employment represents a viable pathway for attaining job security and economic mobility. 6.2. Improve the city and county of San Francisco's Department of Human Resources to ensure accountability and consequences for racial discrimination. 6.3. Create grant opportunities for internships to ensure Black people have access and can take on unpaid internships, which have a positive impact on creating industry knowledge and getting hired. 6.4. Prioritize members of Black San Francisco's current and past African American communities for employment opportunities, training programs, professional certifications, partnerships, and contracting. Additionally, create dedicated placement services to assist both experienced, mid career, and entry level candidates. And we are on page 39. We are at the middle of the page of 39, and we are reading Black Business Home Ownership and Entrepreneurship. Objective 7, to support Black entrepreneurs and to ensure that Black owned businesses thrive in San Francisco. And the actions that the Reparations Advisory Committee's recommending include 7.1, invest in direct payments and training programs, tax relief and incentives, exceptions from payroll tax and property tax assistance from the city with outstanding taxes to ensure that people are up to date on their tax liabilities, and establish benchmarks for approval for equity applicant programs. For example, 99% approval within 30 days. Those eligible for reparations should receive prioritized licensing for all services. Through the Economic Trust and Land Trust, create industry campuses which house industry incubators, potentially including international business hub, fostering international trade, and foster trade with diaspora partners, manufacturing business hubs, Black PDR hubs, a cannabis hub, culture, journalism, and media hub, amen to that, artificial intelligence hub, and biotech hub. The rationale for this: a campus with real estate owned by the trust to create industry incubators that will train, provide jobs, and provide space and investment for Black people getting into emerging industries or already practicing. Yes, and I'm ready for that. I'm so ready. Oh my gosh. Can't you guys see a media hub? Clarity Media Hub. Oh my goodness. Within the Media Hub, I am ready to teach people how to produce content, video content, audio content, how to write scripts for radio and television and presentations, how to light your sets. And speaking of lighting, let me get in my good lighting here. Oh, there's so much more to learn, so much more to give, and so much more to do. All right. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. Thank you to the Reparations Advisory Committee for including that in this first report of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee. This report is being submitted on March 14 to the Board of Supervisors and to Mayor London Breed. Hopefully, they will say, we love it, we are for it, we support it, and they will send it on to Sacramento to the Governor Gavin Newsom for his further consideration, and to Secretary of State Dr. Shirley Weber. We're at 6.3 now on page 39. Create grant opportunities for internship. We already read that. I'm sorry. We're on to 7.1. Invest in direct payments and training programs, tax relief. Oh, we read that too. Oh, goodness. I'm just moving right along through all of this. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm moving so much more quickly than I anticipated. Oh, my goodness. Let me turn my camera around just a little bit. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this reading. Please add your questions or comments in the comments, and I will check on the comments in just a second here. Okay. So let's move on to the, let's see. We're at 7.5 at the bottom of page 39. Use the reduced commercial real estate occupancy in downtown San Francisco as an opportunity to invest in building acquisition to house a multi-industry campus. All right. So let's move to page 40. Objective 8, fill funding gaps for Black entrepreneurs and expand opportunities to access capital, including actions 8.1, bolster foundation support and San Francisco government financial grant programs for entrepreneurs and business owners. 8.2, use the city's existing legacy business rent stabilization grant program as a model for creating a grant loan program for Black business owners to purchase commercial real estate. 8.3, leverage the Community Reinvestment Act to offer 0% or low interest rate loans convertible to grants to qualifying business owners. Now we're at education on page 40. Formal recognition of institutional harms. Objective 1, acknowledge the harm done to past generations of Black students in San Francisco and take steps to prevent those future harms. 1.7, offer financial compensation for families affected by the education harms that the San Francisco Unified School District has perpetuated throughout the years on Black students. Objective 2, make meaningful financial investments in students and communities to address past structural harms. Actions include 2.1, expand eligibility to the equity incentives in the city's kindergarten to college program to prioritize Black SFUSD students at schools across the district, to add funds monthly to students' accounts based on grades, evidence of student achievement, and other benchmarks. Offer scholarships for other educational options beyond SFUSD, boarding schools, private schools, parochial schools, etc. Fund tuition assistance for 2 to 4 year college institutions, trade school, or other post secondary school options. Invest in pathways for Black SFUSD graduates who return to San Francisco to work at SFUSD, where the city will provide funding to eligible returning professionals to offset the cost of housing, student loans, etc. I would love to go and teach in the San Francisco schools where I was having a difficult time back in the days. I would love that. And to get help, financial aid help, even at my age, yes, I would love to go back to school to learn to teach. Or maybe I think I know how to teach, but maybe learn the standards, the California standards. Yeah, I'm wetting my whistle. Yeah, about those California standards. Yeah, let me stop smacking and getting my little attitude right now about those California educational standards. Let me move on and continue with the report. We're on page 41, so I'm going to move forward here on the page there. Okay, we're at the actions in the middle of the page. We're on objective 3. Invest in educational infrastructures to ensure that all SFUSD students have equitable access to quality school buildings and resources. And the actions included are 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Establish an Afrocentric K through 12 school in San Francisco, similar to existing culturally specific schools in San Francisco Unified School District. Study innovative public school models such as Cleveland, Ohio's I Promise School to implement best practices for urban education and pedagogy, and in a brand new K through 12 school built intentionally for African American student enrollment. And I would like to acknowledge Kingmakers of Oakland. Yes, another great model for education. Kingmakers of Oakland with all of those great folks. Yes, definitely. Cannot exclude them. 3.2, equip all SFUSD students with technology that equips them to be competitive in the 21st century, including access to laptops and internet and Wi-Fi access supplemented for students. Establish a satellite historically Black college or university, HBCU, campus in San Francisco. Woohoo for that. That's amazing. Create an incentive package and facilitate relationships with the technology sector to attract an HBCU with the intentions of strengthening the pipeline into the technology industry. Yes. I want to give a shout out to my Zachary Mayo, my youngest son, who is interested in technology. Yes, that would be perfect for my son. Yes. Thank you to the African American Reparations Advisory Committee for including that part of the education and the technology sector and how the collaborative and the relationship can really work there. I love what I'm reading here tonight on this reading of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1. So now we're on page 42. At the top of page 42, creating Black-centered educational pathways. Objective 4, introduce curriculum that elevates and promotes Black history and culture and offers students a foundation of culturally competent skills. The actions include introduce a mandatory core Black history and culture curriculum into all SFUSD grade levels per the guidelines set forth by the Fund Black History Resolution adopted by the San Francisco Unified School District in 2020. Offer culturally competent after-school programs and weekend cultural enrichment opportunities. Offer culturally competent early childhood education programs for students ages 0 to 5 that prioritize fundamentals to prepare students for kindergarten. Incorporate meditation, yoga, and other mindfulness principles into the classroom and after school programs. I love that. Teach and model healthy coping skills, anger management, navigating gender relations, empowerment, and anti bullying in schools. I love that also. Introduce a comprehensive nutrition curriculum that incorporates gardening and agriculture at all grade levels. I'm smiling. I think you can hear me smiling. Commit to funding and hosting nonpartisan voter education events to supplement civic education curriculum with practical resources about voting and the electoral process. Don't you love these recommendations? I absolutely love these recommendations. Objective 5, we're at the towards the bottom of page 42. Objective 5, create pathways for African American students to pursue both traditional and non-traditional educational opportunities. And the actions include reinstate trade pathways and vocational opportunities into the San Francisco Unified School curriculum, including culinary, woodshop, electrical engineering, automotive, and other vocational programs. Invest in the arts programs with an emphasis on culturally based practices at schools densely populated with African American students. Collaborate, I said that right, I'm sorry. Collaborate with existing institutions such as the African American Arts and Cultural District to create relevant and meaningful arts curriculum. And increase funding for existing programs that support college readiness and completion. Programs must have a proven track record and be monitored by a reparations oversight committee. This is all making me smile. We're moving on to page 43. And we are reading the recommendations for the educational reparations ask. Within this first report produced by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee. Now, this report is not just about $5 million. This is about real long-term reparations that will affect generations to come. And this is what we are talking about when we say reparations is not just about the money, okay? So we're at 5.4 at the top of page 43. Increase funding for existing programs that support one-on-one tutoring, programs that must have a proven track record and be monitored by the Reparations Advisory or Reparations Oversight Committee. Collaborate with local employers to create a secondary school curriculum that prepares students for careers and internships in emerging industries. Provide scholarship funding for students to pursue supplemental educational opportunities inside and outside of San Francisco. Include a requirement for students to bring their talents back to San Francisco to prevent further regional brain drain. Fund after-school programs that include media literacy, analysis skills, and cultural empowerment to counteract the harmful images of Black youth in mainstream media. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. I agree to that. That is all about, um, yes, being able to really understand what the media is up to. And Lord knows I know what the media is up to. Once upon a time, I was part of the media, the mainstream media, but now, as a Black owned media owner, it is my duty to promote and produce positive, um, progressive images and content that I can be proud of, and that my children and grandchildren can also be proud of. So, yeah, amen to that. Amen to the African American Reparations Advisory Committee of San Francisco for including that in this first report, that will be presented to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and to Mayor London Breed on March 14th. Please come out to San Francisco City Hall and support this report. It is all good stuff, and it is all long overdue. Okay, where am I now? We're on page 43. We're continuing with recruiting, retaining, and supporting African American educators. Objective 6: invest in recruiting Black educators. And the actions include, that they're asking include, SFUSD should recruit Black teachers from HBCUs and throughout the community and region. Objective 7: develop incentives for retaining those Black educators in the San Francisco Unified School District. And the actions would include provide housing stipends for Black educators commensurate with market rate housing needs. Yes. Create a grant program to improve teacher preparation, recruitment, and ongoing professional development that fully incorporates culturally responsive pedagogy. Provide funding for teacher pathway programs and continuing education opportunities. Provide stipends for books, materials, etc. Provide scholarships for San Francisco based students attending public and private universities, pursuing careers in education. Objective 8: building and sustaining a pipeline of educators, Black educators, that is. The actions include provide funding and other resources for new teachers to pursue tutors of their own choice for teaching certification tests, and using the Urban Ed Academy model, expand that program to include Black women and build professional pipelines to attract and retain Black women educators. Amen. Compensate Black educators for the harm they experience teaching a white supremacy curriculum. All right, so let's move on to page 44. I'm going to take a little drink here and welcome all of you who are tuned in to the reading of the San Francisco Reparations Advisory Committee report number 1, Unlocked. I am getting to the bottom of things. I'm reading through the report, all 60 pages. We're on page 44. And we're moving right along. I'm going to take a quick sip and a quick break. So I want you guys to all stay where you are. I will be back with more of the reading. If you have any questions about this San Francisco Reparations Advisory Committee, you can go to the website there on the screen. It's sfreparations.org. Again, that's www.sfreparations.org. And I will keep that on the screen so that you can go to the report yourself. You can read it yourself. Everything that I'm reading here is there on that website. Just, look carefully through the menu and you will find the reparations report there. You can read it at your leisure, or you can watch these recordings again that I'm presenting on behalf of the Dreamkeeper Initiative and Black San Francisco. I'm Alicia Mayo here at Clarity Media, Black woman owned. Out of chaos comes clarity. I'm providing human stories and grassroots solutions, and only the way that I can do it. Yes. Yes. Thank you for joining me. Please include your comments or questions that you may have. I will be back with more. Okay. Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health. I'm Alicia Mayo, the host and executive producer of the Bay Area Mental Health Hour.
And I'm Dr. Jason Outlaw, Clinical Director of Journey of Life Counseling and Assessment Services in San Leandro, California. Welcome. We're on location here today. I'm certainly very excited about providing information to the public on mental health topics that seem to be very important to us all, right? I think we all have family members and friends and even ourselves who at times have questions about kind of how to access and navigate through the mental health territory, and I think we'll be tackling some of those topics and making sure that we provide information to the public that's useful and practical.
Yes, and you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Look for the Bay Area Mental Health Hour.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm the founder of Taylor J Collection. We are a women's contemporary clothing brand located right here in Oakland, California. The journey of a woman comes with many changes, and that's why we are very intentional about all of our designs and collections. We make sure to provide elevated comfort, sustainability, versatility, and of course, style. If you're in the Bay Area, come by, say hi, and take some comfy pieces home to add to your closet. Shop with us online at taylorjcollection.com.
to the sound of my own drum. I've learned I've gotta be a fan of, yeah, my own rhythm. If you can't see the greatness in me, I don't know what you see. If you do not believe in me, I'm asking you to leave. You can't see what you've done to me. Yes, I disagree. There's way more to me. I'm leveling up and you've got to face it. Yeah, it's time you acknowledge all of my greatness. I gotta be aware of who I let in, cause some people mentality is limiting. If you can't see me as great, you focus on the flaws, and I've been showing the good and bad front of all of y'all. I gotta be aware of those that be writing them bad spells. The words used to speak on my life make heaven or hell. I was stuck, but now I'm up, leveling up, living it up, showing myself pushing on the way to the sound of my own drum. I've learned I've gotta be a fan of, yeah, my own rhythm. If you can't see the greatness in me, I don't know what you see. If you do not believe in me, I'm asking you to leave. You can't see what you've done to me. Yes, I disagree. There's way more to me. I'm leveling up and you've got to face it. Yeah, it's time you acknowledge all of my greatness.
All right, everybody. That was my guy, Love More, out of Oakland. I love me some Love More. You got to love him too, because that young brother is doing his thing. And Miss Taylor J. of Oakland, yes, my dear, Miss Taylor J., beautiful clothing for sale for beautiful women. And I just want to acknowledge Mayor London Breed for supporting Miss Taylor J. I remember the broadcasts that I would produce, that included all of her wonderful work. And hi, everybody. I'm here. I'm actually here in the background. Yeah, I would share Taylor's ads because it's all about supporting each other. Here in the Bay Area, there there's just a handful, two handfuls of us, right? And so we must, there's no excuse why we cannot support our own. Okay. And by including her content and her beautiful designs, it is my contribution and my way of supporting Taylor J. And it is my way of supporting that wonderful artist, that beautiful young spirit, Love More out of the East Bay. He spreads his love all across the Bay Area, and he does it in his own unique way. And all of his music and messaging is so positive and so fun and just so full of life that I continue to support him no matter what. That's what my media platform is all about. It's all about supporting BIPOC people of the Bay Area, particularly in San Francisco and in the East Bay, where I went to school and lived, and I have family and friends. And if you are in other parts of the Bay Area, and there are some 11 counties in the Bay Area, and you love Black people or you love me, come on, let me know. Say something in the comments so that I can see that you actually love me. Prove it to me. Prove it to me by showing up on the steps of San Francisco City Hall on March 14th with me as I rally and shout for Black reparations in San Francisco because they are long overdue. My ancestors and my family worked long and hard for the money that they never received, for the housing opportunities that they never received, that we have never received, for the educational opportunities that we have never received, for the employment, justice, and equality that we still have not received. It is real, people. This is not just something that we want because we're lazy and we don't want to work. We have worked and we have paid dues. Our people have worked and paid dues and not been paid. Do you can you imagine that? Can you imagine going to work for free every day, getting up in this cold weather and going to work and not being paid for your work? The discriminations continue, and they don't continue with just white businesses and white folks. We treat each other that way. There are Black owned businesses discriminating against Black people today. I am a victim of it most recently. And I'm not calling any names, but let me tell you the discrimination, the injustice, the inequality, the unfair treatment continues. How will I recover? If I can't afford an attorney to take somebody to court to recover what I worked for, what happens? Nothing happens. I go without compensation and fair treatment. I have to suck it up and move on, go find another job or get on unemployment and barely make ends meet. That's a reality for not just me, but for thousands and thousands of Black people in San Francisco and in California. We are due reparations, and the harms should not be continued by others or by us. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I had a little something to drink. I hope that you are enjoying this time with me here as I read through the African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1. Okay, there are 60 pages of a report. Lots of work has been done to produce this report so that the Secretary of State and so that the Governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, so that they know and understand what we are asking for and why we are asking for it, so that they get a clear understanding of the harm that has been done, so that they can then move it from state policy to federal policy, so that all Black people get reparations eventually. That is the goal. That is the goal. Okay. So for now, I'm reading through the San Francisco report for reparations. This report is unlocked because I am taking it upon myself to read through the report. It is a lot to read and a lot to understand, and hopefully the Reparations Advisory Committee members, like the chair and the co-chair, Mr. McDonald, Eric McDonald, and Ms. Tanish Hollins, hopefully they will follow through on their commitment and on their promise to sit with me and to sit with us here on a live stream in the future after we read through this report. I'm planning to read through the report before the 14th, before we go to the steps of City Hall to rally for reparations. We're going to complete the readings, and then we're going to sit down with the chair and the vice chair to talk about this report, to ask questions about the report. So please include your questions or comments in the questions and comments streams on, or go to the comments wherever you find comments. If you're on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Twitter, if you are on Facebook, please include your questions and comments. And of course, I will let you guys know when the chair and vice chair will be joining us here for the reading. But I will be collecting your comments and questions, and I will pose them. I will promise to pose them to the chair and vice chair so that you can definitely be heard. So I want to add the report to the stream now. Let's see. Let me take this off here. Okay, there we are. We are on page 44, and we are at the top of page 44, interrupting the school to prison pipeline. The objective is to offer creative, community informed options to support students who are most at risk of becoming involved in the criminal justice system. And the actions include work in consultation with the district attorney and public defender's office to implement a cash incentive program similar to Richmond's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Gun Violence intervention model. That offers a stipend to those who are at risk of becoming involved in or who are at risk of being justice involved for achieving educational benchmarks like degree completion. Okay, interrupting that that school to prison pipeline. 9.2 on page 44. Introduce city college programs designed to provide access to degree programs while incarcerated and to ease the transition into educational pathways upon release. Partner with the California State Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation and the San Francisco County Jail to provide alternative pathways to college degrees while incarcerated through non-traditional instruction programs. For example, mail-in packets, tablets, correspondence training, and programs, etc. I like that. Objective 10, invest in holistic, comprehensive wraparound services for San Francisco Unified School District youth and their families. The actions should include supporting the San Francisco Department of Public Health in creating a criteria for therapy within the school district to focus on trauma stemming from gun violence, war zones, and post-traumatic stress disorder or injury. That should be added because injury is a temporary situation that can be repaired. Offer rehabilitation and substance abuse counseling for youth that is easily accessible with culturally competent staff. Offer tutoring, mentoring, and counseling through nonprofit community-based organizations that are already engaged in this kind of work. 10.4, increase access to in-school mental health resources and wellness practices, including funding to introduce mindfulness practices to all schools densely populated with African American students. Additional full-time therapists at all schools densely populated with African American students, free access to therapy, school-based expressive arts programs, fund programs like Rafiki Coalition to do school-based therapy and provide therapy for Black San Francisco Unified School staff as well. We're moving on to page 45. Introduce services that Introduce services that introduce socio-emotional learning and intelligence and counter narratives to harmful messages that youth often receive. So let me just sift through this wonderful sentence. Introduce services that introduce socio-emotional, okay? Social emotional learning, like emotional intelligence, like how to resolve conflict intellectually, and in smart ways, in ways that promote positivity and expanding relationships. And counter narratives, the narratives that are anti-Black narratives and anti-human messages that are harmful to youth, like pro-misogynistic lyrics in rap. We want to counteract that with positive lyrics in rap and narratives, right? We want to introduce all of that because whatever works for our youth. And we don't always know what works for our youth. And so we have to test these approaches. We have to try everything and we have to do what they want. We have to meet them where they are. And that would include counteracting negatives with positives. Okay, let's go on. So we're at objective 11. Implement educational pathways to degree programs for unhoused residents and transitional age youth, TAY youth. The action should include hire dedicated liaisons to visit transitional age youth housing and other supportive housing sites across the city to provide guidance in pursuing education and advocate for unhoused people who want to pursue educational opportunities. And that is a large part foster youth, which is really important. We cannot forget our foster youth. Also, develop a partnership with City College to ease transition into learning programs for unhoused residents and TAY youth. Objective 12, establish independent oversight of educational programs related to reparations. Yes, we do need an oversight committee to make sure uh, that we are advocating for those youth as if we are their parents, as if, they are our own. The actions should include introduce a reparations education oversight committee, which will be a nonpartisan body formed by the city that includes legacy African American reparations advisory committee members appointed to track the implementation and success of these programs that are uniquely serving the Black community. Okay, so we're on page 36 right now, and I'm going to stop here, but I will read page 46. This is the last page of tonight's reading of San Francisco Reparations Unlocked. I'm Alicia Mayo, founder and executive producer, director, all things on a one woman show right here on Clarity Media, bringing you this reading of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee reports, reading of Report 1. Report 2 is expected to be released in July. I will be reading through that as well. And this is a public service effort to help folks understand what is in this report. There's a lot to read here, some 60 pages of the report. And if you want to read the report yourself, you can definitely find it online by going to the Reparations Advisory Committee website. And that website I will include on the page here or on my screen. There it is, scrolling in the bottom. It's sfreparations.org. Go to sfreparations.org to retrieve the first report produced and authored by the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. They are presenting this report on March 14th to the Honorable Mayor London Breed of San Francisco and to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors for consideration, and then they will send it on to Sacramento for further consideration by the governor, and then on to Vice President Kamala Harris, President Biden, and all of that, so that Black folks all over the country, all over the United States, we want reparations, and we want reparations now. We want reparations this year. We want it to happen immediately, okay? But we're going to start here in San Francisco. We're going to move it through the state of California for Black San Francisco, on behalf of Black San Francisco, for Black California, and reparations for Black California and across the United States. Okay, all right, okay. Off my soapbox. On to page 46. At the top of page 46, we are starting the subject of health with objective 1. Acknowledge the insult, assault, and intergenerational harm caused by the city and county of San Francisco as it relates to the mental, physical, and environmental health of Black San Franciscans. The action should include issue an official apology, official apology. We want an official apology from the City and County of San Francisco and the San Francisco Department of Public Health on the historic failure to adequately improve the social determinants of health for Black San Franciscans due to structural racism, which has had lasting and long generational impacts to the mental, physical, and environmental well being for Black residents. I cannot say that. I mean, I can read that over and over again because we know how deeply rooted the harm is and how it shows up. How does harm show up? It shows up in our health, it shows up in our actions, in our behavior, in our diets, in our access to wellness, you know, and the use of emergency rooms. It is an emergency always when it comes to recovering from harms on a daily basis for Black folks. Yes. 1.2, publicly commit to the restoration for ways that racism has caused insult to Black humanity and manifested in both visible and invisible trauma through the means of compensation, restoration, and rehabilitation. Investigate and hold health and wellness institutions liable for the racial trauma and harm they have inflicted on African American communities and require them to be financially accountable and mandated to contribute to a San Francisco Reparations Fund. Review, audit, and improve city departments and policies responsible for community health and ensure public, philanthropic, and city funding that is allocated toward Black health is appropriately and equitably spent. Objective 2, address and reduce health disparities by investing in structural, long term solutions to the social determinants to health. The action should include creating an actionable Black health plan that builds on the existing Black African American focus area in the San Francisco Department of Public Health strategic plan to address disparities across areas of wellness focused on illness prevention, culturally appropriate treatment modalities, and violence prevention. Build or adequately resource neighborhood based clinics in communities with high concentrations of African Americans. Equip practitioners with mandatory training and engagement with culturally responsive approaches, hiring practices, and systems of care. And free create free educational pathways to recruit, train, and retain Black healthcare professionals with stipends, student loan forgiveness, and or affordable housing for Black physicians and registered nurses working in San Francisco's Black neighborhoods. Can you see it? Can you see it now? I can see it. Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you to the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee for doing the work to create this first report for us, Black San Franciscans. Thank you. And last, 2.5, the last action that they're asking for is that San Francisco provide funding to San Francisco public schools, African American churches, and other community spaces to increase culturally appropriate access to wellness, nutrition, education, health screening, and other health resources. This is wonderful work, wonderful work, wonderful work. I've read 15 pages tonight of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee's first report that will be submitted on March 14th to London Breed. of San Francisco. Yes, she is the 44th mayor of San Francisco. I am proud to be a San Francisco resident who is seeing reparations and history in progress. I am proud to see it happening. It is happening and it will happen for us because it is only right. It is the right thing to do. It is the thing that we can do. We have the resources to do it. We have the legislators to push the uh, the legislation forward based on all of the work that the groups of residents and the people on the ground and grassroots organizers like the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. Yes, they've done tremendous work to create this report and to provide all of the details and all of the reasoning for why Black San Franciscans deserve reparations. I'm Alicia Mayo of Clarity Media, thanking all of you for joining me here tonight for this reading of the report. The first report, the second report is expected to be released to the public in July. And at that time, I will download it, print it, and read through it as well. But before that time, before July, we can support this work. We can support the committee. We can support Black San Franciscans by joining together on the steps of San Francisco's City Hall on March 14th at 12 noon as we rally and shout and make our voices heard to support Black reparations in San Francisco's efforts towards providing reparations for Black San Francisco. I mean, the words, it's all the same. Black people deserve reparations in San Francisco, and you should come out and support us in solidarity. Okay, if you love me the way I love you, come on out and support me on March 14th. I'll be there on the steps with everyone else. I'll be there with pictures and doing my part and everything to represent not only my family, but the other families in San Francisco who have relatives and ancestors and grandparents who worked without their fair compensation or who lived in San Francisco, paid taxes, and just were not treated equally. All right. Come and join us on the 14th. All right. So I'm going to remove the report. When we are joined again, we will, or when we get together again, we will pick up on page 47 at Objective 3, where we will read about creating safer public spaces through improvements to build a better environment for Black San Franciscans. Yeah, that's where we will pick up. And yeah, it's a lot. We have another 20 pages to go. That's not too many. We've done a pretty good job so far. But let me also invite all of you to participate with the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee as they tackle important issues that they will include in the reports, and they definitely need to hear your voices. You need to get involved to develop policy recommendations. Make your voices heard, okay? The next meeting of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee will take place. One of the meetings with the, I think it's the Economic Advisory Committee, that subcommittee is meeting March 6th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And you can go to the website that's in the ticker below. It's scrolling below. Go to that website, sfreparations.org, to pick up that Zoom link for the meetings and other meetings, future meetings. You will find the link there that will take you to the list of all of the meetings. Make sure you register for all of those meetings. If you can't make the meetings, at least when you register, you'll get the notifications about the meetings on your Google calendars. And all you have to do then is just tap on from your phone or from your PC or wherever you are. But you should definitely participate in those meetings because they are still happening and you can still make your voices heard. You can still give your input to what you think is missing in the reports, this report number 1 and in the future reports. They really, the committee really depends on comments and suggestions from the public. They really do look forward to your comments. So make sure you participate in the meeting. Let me just include what they will be covering in this March 6th meeting. The agenda will include review the submitted report that they are expected to submit on March 14th, prioritize requests. They will review the Board of Supervisors meeting that's happening on the 14th again, and they will cover outreach and community-based organizations and other Black groups of all types. They are tasked with doing the work of making sure that they are developing strategies to compensate Black people for generations of trauma and harm. Make sure that you are a part of this work by tuning in, going to the website, registering for the meetings, participating in the meetings, making your voices heard, showing up on the steps of San Francisco City Hall with me on March 14th at 12 noon, and all. Just make history, be a part of history. This is history in the making. Okay. Just want you to know that we are making history. Okay. So this is Alicia Mayo of Clarity Media. I am funded by the Dreamkeeper Initiative of San Francisco's storytelling and narrative shift cohort. I'm honored to be a part of the Dreamkeeper cohort. I am doing the work of bringing news and information to you that is unedited news and information. It is news and information that affects us, Black people in San Francisco and across the Bay Area. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. I'm going to check the comments, and I'm going to check the comments on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. And I'm going to see if any of you are out there watching and listening and, asking and, participating. Let's see. Let's see here. Let me see. I'm going to go to, I'm on my phone right now, so I'm going to go to my page. My first stop will be on Facebook here. Okay, so, all right, you can hear the music playing there. Let's see. I don't see any comments here. I see some 41 impressions, 41 people reached. That's good, but no comments. Okay. I'm going to need you guys to ask some questions. I've got one share. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you. You know who you are. I can't really see who you are, but let me go here to my StreamYard comments. There's Malik Seneferu. He is inviting me to remain creative, and I will absolutely remain creative. Mr. Malik Seneferu, I'm including his work here on my platform on tonight's broadcast so that you can see his wonderful work. Thank you to Malik Seneferu for participating and including your comments here on tonight's broadcast. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anyone. I don't think I let me go to YouTube and see if there are any comments there. They would show up on my StreamYard comment section, but I don't see any. So with that, I will stop checking the comments, and I will also invite all of you who sees this at a later date to share this. I can't say it enough. Share this so that you guys can get caught up on the report. We left off on page 47. We'll pick up on page 47 tomorrow evening. That's Thursday evening at 5 p.m. I'll be back to continue reading through the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1. Second report's coming in July, so you need to know what's in report number 1 before July. You actually need to know what's in the report before March 14th, because that's when we will get over there to San Francisco City Hall and shout and make it loud and proud about how we want San Francisco reparations now. All right. So I'm Alicia Mayo. Again, I'm the founder, CEO of Clarity Media. Thanking all of you for tuning in. I want to include a little bit more business with the station identification and some more promotions of Black businesses and Black creatives in San Francisco and throughout the Bay Area. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back with just a little bit more. Stay tuned.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
Drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me here on Clarity Media. It's Alicia Mayo. Just again, I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in to the reading of the Reparations Advisory Committee's report. Number one, that report was released and it is now available for you to read through. You can go to the San Francisco Reparations Advisory Committee's website that they've created just to provide information for all of you who may have questions. Oh, I'm so sick of StreamYard and all this. I'm trying to go to the website. There it is. StreamYard, if you're listening, get it together. Okay, so you can visit www.sfreparations.org to get the full report in your hand. You have to download it and then print it. It is 60 pages of the first report. The second report will be released in July. It will be more pages, lots of great information there. I don't know if you really want to download it. Maybe you'll just read it online, and you can access that website on your mobile device or on your PC. But make sure you try and read through it, go through it as much as you can, like I'm doing right now. I'm reading through it as much as I can. If you heard me read about something and you had some questions about it, you want to replay it, go to the recordings on YouTube or on Facebook. If you're a Facebook friend of mine, if you're on LinkedIn or on Twitter, you can find these readings on all of those platforms. You can rewind those readings and listen to them again as many times as you wish. Please add your comments or questions so that I can pass those comments or questions on to the chair and the vice chair of the African American Reparations Advisory Committees. I will have them on after we are done reading the report. I'm going to read tomorrow again at 5 p.m. and I'm trying to hurry up and get through the report before the 14th, when we will be on the steps of City Hall rallying in support of San Francisco reparations. Okay. But I'm trying to read through it quickly so that I can have the chair and the vice chair on to answer our questions and to dig deeper into the report. Okay. So just, keep an eye out for that. I will continue to post the ads about my next readings and all of that. You'll see the ad, and when you see it, just know that, that must mean Alicia's going to be on live again reading that report about San Francisco reparations. Really? Or do they really expect to get $5 million? Yes, we do. $5 million ain't nothing in San Francisco. Let me just tell you that personally. Okay, it's not a whole lot you can do with $5 million if you live in San Francisco and the Bay Area for that matter. Okay, trying to find a decent place to live, you've already spent $3 million of your $5 million. Or more easily, right? If your car breaks down, you got to go buy a car. That's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 if you want to ride in something that's worth riding in, and pay some bills, pay a few bills in San Francisco, like rent or mortgage. Hello, you about to run out of money, and don't lose your job. I'm not, that's not funny, but I'm thinking about you about to lose your job. You about to lose a whole lot if you cannot afford to live in San Francisco. Yeah, you about to lose a whole lot. And that is not right. We should not lose a whole lot for being Black. We should not lose a whole lot because we don't have the education levels that some of the privileged have been able to have. We should not lose a whole lot because we have not had equal access to lending or, home loans when it comes to, financing and trying to make ends meet. We should not be punished for being Black. As a matter of fact, we have reparations due because we have been punished. We have been treated unfairly. Everybody knows it. This Reparations Advisory Committee producing all of this proof, we know it's not necessary, but that's what we have to do as Black people. We have to prove that we deserve reparations. We have to prove it. And San Francisco has proven it. Black folks in San Francisco, we are proving it, and we have more for them. We have more for them. It's coming. But make sure you write that check. Make sure you prepare to pay. Make sure you prepared to give us equal access to all of the things that we have worked for. Be sure that you are prepared to open up them books, just like you want us to open up our books and show how we are managing our money. Make sure you are ready to show how you're going to manage this money. I'm Alicia Mayo, founder, CEO, technical director, executive producer, executive director, all things right here in me. I hold the power to make things happen on my media platform. Thank you to StreamYard. Thank you to Facebook. Thank you to LinkedIn. If you stick with me, you're going to go a long way, okay? But if you don't, I'm going to find a way to broadcast to the people, to the masses, no matter what, right? Just like you created your technology, I can create mine. Oh, I'm so inspired. I just love my ancestors and all the inspiration that's coming down on me. And I just love my children because my children inspire me. My youngest son is into technology in a real big way. Oh gosh, does he inspire me? I've got to look out for his future. I've got to look out for the future of my grandson. He's only 2, but I've got to look out for my children. The same way that my ancestors looked out for me. I am here today because of them. Because of them, I am standing on their shoulders. So now I am doing the work that is expected of me by sharing the education, by expressing the knowledge, the information. I am a light giver. And I am preparing for the future of my children and grandchildren. It is my contribution here on Clarity Media. Black women owned. Human stories and grassroots solutions. That's why I created a nonprofit media organization. People were asking me, how are you going to manage? How are you going to survive? What are you doing creating a business that is nonprofit, a media business in particular? They had no idea, but I had all of the ideas and all of God's support and love, right? All of that energy resides right here. This is Black San Francisco. You should be proud of me. I'm proud of me. And those of you who are watching this, man, you're getting something very rare and unique. I love you the same way you love me. Thank you for tuning in. Include your comments and questions in the comments. I will be back tomorrow night at 5 p.m. with more of the reading of Report 1 of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee Report number 1. It will be submitted on March 14 to the Mayor of San Francisco, the 44th Mayor, Mayor London Breed, and to the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco. And I trust that they will all do the right thing and put some nice ink, wet ink on there and send it on up to Sacramento to our Governor Gavin Newsom, where he will then put some wet ink on there and send it on to Washington, D.C. as legislation for all Black people in the United States, not just in San Francisco, not just in California. We deserve it. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have a few more ads to run, and then I will say good night. Actually, I'm going to say good night now because it is 7:14. I've been on for over an hour and a half. If you missed anything, please play it back. Thank you for joining me. I love all of you. I will see you tomorrow evening. Okay? All right. All right. Thank you so much, y'all. All right.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity, Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
Rock with a few, drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning.
Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm the founder of Taylor J Collection. We are a women's contemporary clothing brand located right here in Oakland, California. The journey of a woman comes with many changes, and that's why we are very intentional about all of our designs and collections. We make sure to provide elevated comfort, sustainability, versatility, and of course, style. If you're in the Bay Area, come by, say hi, and take some comfy pieces home to add to your closet. Shop with us online at taylorjcollection.com.
Pushing on the way to the sound of my own drum. I've learned I've gotta be a fan of, my own rhythm. If you can't see the greatness in me, I don't know what you see. If you do not believe in me, I'm asking you to leave. You can't see what you've done to me. Yes, I disagree. There's way more to me. I'm leveling up and you've got to face it. Yeah, it's time you acknowledge all of my greatness. I gotta be aware of who I let in, cause some people mentality is limiting. If you can't see me as great, you focus on the flaws, and I've been showing the good and bad front of all of y'all. I gotta be aware of those that be writing them bad spells. The words used to speak on my life make heaven or hell. I was stuck, but now I'm up, leveling up, living it up, showing myself pushing on the way to the sound of my own drum. I've learned I've gotta be a fan of, my own rhythm. If you can't see the greatness in me, I don't know what you see. If you do not believe in me, I'm asking you to leave. You can't see what you've done to me. Yes, I disagree. There's way more to me. I'm leveling up and you've got to face it. Yeah, it's time you acknowledge all of my greatness.
Show your support for Black-owned media with a tax-deductible contribution today. And don't forget to visit Clarity Media's Tech and Swag store for gear and supplies. Thank you.